Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasi Gauravinda. Time for a little Krishna book. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Asachade Satarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parabhikacharya Asa Sarasata Shri Shiman His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Vanchikalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. So chapter 10, Krishna book. Krishna 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 Krishna. So chapter 10, Deliverance of Nalakūvara Maṇigrīva. So Krishna is having a little fun with his mother Yasoda. She was busy in her household affairs, churning butter, and Krishna was hungry. So he went to his mother, and he indicated that she should stop that and take him and feed him, breastfeed him, stop with the yogurt and the butter. So she put everything down, and she took Krishna on her lap, and she began to feed her baby. But on the stove, some milk was overflowing and burning on the stove. So she hurriedly, quick, it was an emergency on the stove, she put Krishna aside and went to the stove to fix the problem on the stove. And Krishna didn't like that. He didn't like that at all. So he broke a butter pot. He broke the pot. She was churning the butter. He broke it. And he started to eat the butter. When she came back, she saw that he was being naughty, that he didn't get what he wanted. And so he saw her coming after him, and, he was going to get punished or chastised. He didn't like that either. So he ran away. So Mother Yasoda is thinking, what can I do? I have to teach him the right way to behave. That's not the proper way to behave. She picked up a stick and she was running after him with the stick. And she caught him. But he was showing her so much fear, not love, but fear. So she realized, there's got to be a better way to do this. I don't want him to fear me. This is out of love, not fear. So she put the stick down, and she says, I know what I'll do. I'll tie him up with rope. Now, these are cow herds, so there's lots of little pieces of rope everywhere around the house because they use it for tying up the calves. So it's an interesting pastime in a lot of ways. Yeah, the milk on the stove is cow's milk. But the milk in Mother Yasoda's breast was her milk. And Krishna wanted her milk. He didn't want the cow's milk. This is more intimate. The mother's milk. It was very intimate. So he didn't want her to put aside that intimacy to go take care of the cow's milk, which the cow is also the mother because we drink her milk. But it's a little different. It's connected to Varnashram Dharma. It's not as intimate. So when she put aside that intimacy to go take care of the Varnashram connected milk, he didn't like that. Again, see that theme indicated with the ropes. So when she caught him to chastise him for what she considered naughty behavior, actually he was teaching the importance of developing this personal loving relationship with him. So the rope was connected to the Varnashram also, because it's what they used to tie the little calves up so that they can get the milk from the mother. When she went to try and bind him with the rope to a grinding mortar, it was always 2 inches too short. No matter how much rope she got, it was always 2 inches too short. She could not tie him up because he can't be bound like that. You can see the connection to the Varnashram, which is there's a reason there is Varnashram, and there's a reason there is cow protection, and there's a reason why there's religion. All these things are for protecting Krishna, serving Krishna, glorifying Krishna. But then there's a loving relationship with Krishna, which is really the goal of it all. It's the whole reason all of that's there. So he couldn't be bound with those with that rope connected to the varnashram. But when she saw how hard she was working and laboring to try and, out of her love, think, as a mother's affection, it took that form, as my child, I have to teach him the right way to do things. It was out of love. He let her tie him up. So there he is. He's tied up to the mortar. He let himself be bound. And he's thinking, Lord Sri Krishna thus thought to himself, Mother Yasoda first of all left without feeding me sufficient milk, and therefore I broke the pot of yogurt and distributed the stock butter in charity to the monkeys. Now she has bound me up to a wooden mortar, so I shall do something more mischievous than before. And thus he thought of pulling down the 2 very tall Arjuna trees that were near where he was tied up. The story of the cursing of Nalakūvara and Maṇigrīva and their deliverance by Krishna under the all-blissful desire of the great sage Narada is here described. The 2 great demigods, Nalakūvara and Maṇigrīva, were sons of the treasurer of the demigods Kuvera, who was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. By the grace of Lord Shiva, Kuvera's material opulences had no limit. As a rich man's sons often become addicted to wine and women, so these 2 sons of Kuvera were also addicted to wine and sex. Once these 2 demigods, desiring to enjoy, entered the garden of Lord Shiva in the province of Kailas on the bank of Mandakini Ganges. There they drank much and engaged in hearing the sweet singing of beautiful women who were accompanying them in that garden of fragrant flowers. In that intoxicated condition, they both entered the water of the Ganges, which was full of lotus flowers. And there they began to enjoy the company of the young girls, exactly as a male elephant enjoys the female elephants within the water. While they were thus enjoying themselves in the water, all of a sudden, Narada, the great sage, happened to pass that way. He can understand that the demigods Nalakūvara and Maṇigrīva were too intoxicated and could not even see that he was passing. The young girls, however, were not so intoxicated as the demigods, and they at once became ashamed at being naked before the great sage Narada. They began to cover themselves with all haste. The 2 demigod sons of Kuvera were so intoxicated they could not appreciate the presence of the sage Narada, and therefore did not cover their bodies. On seeing the 2 demigods so degraded by intoxication, Narada desired their welfare, and therefore he exhibited his causeless mercy upon them by cursing them. So, cuckoo sounded, telling me it's the top of the hour, and I continue with my vow, my austerity, 2 rounds at the top of every hour, and Hare Krishna. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama, Rama Rama Hari Hari, Hari Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama, Rama Rama Hari Hari, Hari Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama, Rama Rama Hari Hari, Hari Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama, Rama Rama Hari Hari.